Pardon my indecent appearance. So I was just listening to the latest. First of all, I want to emphasize again. Come on, you got to admit it's a revolution in publishing, because for all our alienation, by email, text, and social media, and our busy lives, that we don't really have time for one another. That's a story, I mean, that's understandable in any case, because we all have really, stressful lives these days. So, and specifically, this aspect of it is interesting to me, because I literally, literally, use the same device to listen to podcasts as I do in turn to just simply press record and start talking about what I think about it. And it's pretty darn immediate, right? So it could very well be, contemplate this for a moment. It could very well be that this obliterates news media as we know it. Because, okay, look, there are events. Journalists cover them. And then they simply upload their research. You upload your work and voila. So in a world where news media has become 100% across the board fake news, which now we can believe because we're starting to get propaganda now. I mean, real overt propaganda from CNN. They made a note about this. I forget which. It might have been might have had it. Jennifer Welch, but I've had it. Jennifer Welch. I'm sorry. I get their show is very clever. The way they open their show. She opens it with, she welcomes all her potential guests, and she says, gay triots, black triots, pink triots, green triots, triple Trumpers. And then she does this whole, these names for categories of people that, we have these days. A loose designations, and it's done tongue-in-cheek and in good fun, and then her guest, who goes under a nickname, and now I don't remember her actual name. She always has a new fuck off. So she starts the show like that, and then somehow, real soon, she's like, fuck off. Just a couple of hot ladies, you know. Hot, you know, thinking on their toes, you know. What's their background? I don't know. I mean, they're very, very, you know, mop the floor with CNN, and it's just what? You know, there's so much more leeway. All kinds of, you know, lowbrow language and everything. Fuck off. It's an interesting, now I got to thinking about, because we're so sensitive about political correctness, but it is true that there are locutions which, if I want to tell a lady that she is smart and attractive, I kind of think that there's no good way of doing it. And, you know, I think it sounds kind of harsh, because, like, it's a strange combination. We don't say that about men. Well, they're smart and attractive. It's a rubbish way to speak. So for that, ladies, I do apologize. This reminds me, and I know I'm digressing here because I lost my train of thought. I don't even know it'll come back to me in a moment here, but it just reminds me in passing, because I'm kind of a Derrida nerd. You know, that Derrida really emphasizes the point that metaphysics itself is a phenomenon of language, and language is a phenomenon of metaphysics, and they're not very neatly separable. And we get just very small flickers of that, you know, in the talk about religion these days, and, you know, whether there's a crisis of religion doesn't seem to me. I mean, everybody seems extraordinarily religious now, you know. Oh, that's an interesting point. And because both the Jennifer Welch and her guest, I guess they're both atheists. Jennifer Welch was raised as an atheist, and her partner on the show, her business partner, yeah, I've only watched like a few episodes. I feel like I know these people really, really closely. Her partner says that they were, I don't know if they were part of a mega church until they were an adult, but she says that she finally came around to atheism. But of course, my thesis is that there is the new Christian atheism, and it's not as far-fetched as it sounds, because really, metaphysics has never left us. Aristotle was with us before Jesus was. one way or another, Western society people, the people of the celebrated European Western civilization, we can just make our peace with our metaphysics. Classical metaphysics in the West, it's Plato, it's Aristotle. The Bible, Shakespeare, Homer. But it's also David Benatar and Slavoj Žižek and Judith Butler and Peggy Kamov and Jacques Derrida. Christian atheism ain't that bad. There are plenty of minor adjustments. You know, you could probably figure out one simple asterisk that can explain what it means to be an atheist and a Christian at the same time, in the same sense. No, well, maybe not in the same sense. I don't know. We would have to talk to a dialetheist, and I can point you in their direction, or so can an LLM or the internet, Wikipedia. All the knowledge is at our fingertips. I mean, I don't know what the fuck people mean by doom scrolling. I mean, you know, I'm sorry to say something offensive here, but do my fellow Americans or fellow humans really have such a lack of imagination that you use the internet for doom scrolling? I don't even know what doom scrolling is, really. I mean, I know what the idea of just scrolling endlessly is, but I don't know why anybody would do that. Why would you do that? Oh, why would you do that? So that's my impersonation of Marcelo Hernandez impersonating Sebastian Maniscalco. Oh, there was another podcast. I'll wrap it up here because I guess I forgot what I was going to say. And it's this Italian guy, Sal. It's like shipping. They were talking about it on the Bulwark. Shipping. It's not Shipping News. That was a book by Annie Proulx. I forget how it's got a French X at the end. The Shipping News. That was big in the 90s. It was a book. I don't know if it probably won a bunch of book awards. It was really big. Yeah, U.S. deploys thousands more troops to the war as Iran threatens world tourism sites. Oh, I guess I was going to talk about that. Oh, yeah, I opened it with... So what was I going to look up now? Okay, Joanna Cole's Daily Beast. Okay, now I'll remember that. So then what was I going to look up here? Don't make jokes about the unconscious, joist. That reminds me, the word joist. Somebody was correcting another. It's an anecdote, I know. They almost got into a really bad altercation about the word joist. The one party was just pounding the table that there was no T at the end of the word joist. Oh yeah. Sal something or other. What's going on with shipping is what it's called. So yeah, this was, I think,
energy resources flow to Americans across the country, even during times of disruption. Okay, number one, almost all oil transportation within the United States is done by pipeline.
Sal Mercogliano. I don't know the pronunciation. What's going on with shipping? Anyway, yeah, that tip is from Andrew Egger, I think. And this remember the name, Dimitri. Come on now. Sal. Oh, Mirko. He's a mercantile. Mercogliano. So what's my mnemonic device? I guess I can use Merkin. But then will I remember Mercogliano? It's not close enough to Merkin, is it? Oh, if I ever meet this gentleman, I'll only be able to think of Merkins. Sal Mercogliano, his latest in shipping, his shipping podcast, he puts up all the whole, because those digital maps that the boats use are just like, oh my God, they're so precise. And it's brilliant because he's like, I've been talking, he says, Professor Mercogliano, he says, he's been talking, he himself, because he has decades in the shipping business, or in the scene, whatever it is. And he says, I've been talking on the phone with ships that are stuck in the Strait of Hormuz. And, well, he was making the general point, a political point, but it's also, it's a technical point. He was saying, for the life of him, he's baffled how it is, what precisely, that, well, so I don't remember exactly the full description. But he was making the point that Iran is still being allowed to sell oil. Now, I think I could be mistaken about what he means, but if ostensibly, see, we don't know how to ask the questions because we don't know what the goal is. There is no stated goal. So I'm not sure of there's no, we don't call it a war. We don't call it a police action. We don't know what to call it. He doesn't even know what he's doing, Trump. So anyway, regardless of how I would have to go back and listen to it again, because it may have been a maritime specific point, and Mercogliano may have been drawing attention to just a complete lack of awareness or interest on the part of the Trump administration for anything, any of these maritime considerations. And I think, was it Tom Nichols? It's another one of those, he's the Naval War College guy. I think it was him. He was making the point that, there's a floor somewhere in the basement of the Pentagon, or somewhere in the Pentagon, where for the last 50 years, they've been generating technical theory, strategic geopolitical theory, on Straits of Hormuz contingencies. Oh no, it was JVL that was making the point. JVL. JVL. They did it. They did in Texas. They did in Minneapolis. The Bulwark Live. Sarah Longwell and Tim Miller. Anyway. But okay, so you got the point about Mercogliano. Regardless of his critique, though, the truly mystifying, you almost have a mystical experience when you hear it. It's this presentation that Trump did today. I guess it was an interview. And he said that, and he looked baffled that the Persians would be fighting back. And he just seemed so confused, saying nobody could have predicted this. Nobody could have predicted what? That you would invade a country and that they would fight back? So anyway, that's the way the most recent Joanna Cole's podcast on A Daily Beast starts. She and Michael Wolff are just sitting there like, just tripping the fuck out. Are we that uncomfortable about mental health in this country? That we have to treat the question of mental health as so taboo. But I don't know how it is. Or maybe, I guess it's just the political stakes are high, but the political stakes are high. Of course the political stakes are high. What are we talking about? He has to be removed from office with the 25th Amendment right now. Donald Trump has to be removed from office with great flair and unanimity, he must be removed from office right now. The surprising thing is not that Donald Trump is surprised that a country that's being invaded would fight back and defend itself. The surprise is that the 25th Amendment has not already removed him. The 25th Amendment can't do it alone. It requires humans. An LLM cannot remove Donald Trump from office with the 25th Amendment. It requires Congress. It requires the Congress. It's not enough to merely remove him Al Capone style. You know, get him for something else. No, he has to be removed JVL style. I'll leave it on that. I'm quoting now. I'm not using it, I'm mentioning it again. All right. There's nothing sweeter of a ambrosia or elixir, tonic, than and I botch it. I botched the punchline. Bravo. There's nothing better. There's nothing better than when bad things happen to bad people.